So this is Parashat Vayeira. In Parashat Shavua, we have many deep ideas. No, it's fine. Many deep ideas that could serve us as a key ingredient to understand our own life, our own personal life. That could really make an effect on our life. There is, of course, the famous question, and I'm not going to talk about the individual plague that he brought and so on and so on. That will leave for different years. But there's a famous question that many people, so-called, are so bothered by. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu that he's going to make Paro's heart, he's going to harden it? What's interesting to me is this question is always a reminder to me that most people are interested in asking questions but not interested in even trying to understand it or bother understanding or trying to come up with a solution. Spasiba. So they would say, listen, is this the right thing to do? Is this the just thing to do? I mean, after all, we did take HaKadosh Baruch Hu did take his ability, Paro's ability, for free choice. So I'm going to make your heart hard. I'm going to harden your heart. I'm going to make you stubborn, and that's not right. That's not right. We always have complaints about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We always. We're not even trying to understand what it's so. It bothers me so much. You have no idea. I mean, it really does. Really does. It's like this spoiled brat that always complains about his parents. There's not even trying to understand why his parents are not buying him because maybe they are struggling for money or whatever. It's always complaining. Rashi understands. It's a machloket rishonim b'davar. Rashi understands that the hardening of Paro's heart in the last 5 makot is a result of the or a punishment for the first 5. If 10, the first 5. When it was really Paro's own stubbornness that led him to refuse and to let Am Yisrael go. The Rambam in Halachot Shuvah, Halachot Shuvah only for the Rambam. Most people read it, or a lot of people read it only when it comes Rosh Hashanah, Elul, and so on and so forth. Halachot Shuvah to the Rambam may be one of the most philosophical writings that we have in not understanding how we interact with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but to understand how HaKadosh Baruch Hu interacts with us. It's an amazing piece of work. Amazing. I'm surprised that they learn the Rambam in philosophy classes and so on and so forth. That's a nice haircut. So the Rambam in Halachot Shuvah Vav Perek Vav Halacha Gimel understands that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hardening of Paro's heart is as a meaning what he called that because the tshuva was taken away from him. Because the tshuva was taken away from him. There are cases in your life which HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take the ability for you to repent. And the ability of repentance is really an aspect of your free choice. So sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu would say, you know what? I'm taking this privilege from you. The Gemara says there are certain people that would not be able to make tshuva. And maspikim beyadam. They're not going to be able to make tshuva. And the liberty that he had to do so was taken away from him because of his wickedness that he had. The other Mefarshim, other Rishonim, like the Sforno or of Albo, and writes that's completely the opposite. The case of Paro wasn't like this. Paro was under tremendous amount of pressure from his people to let the people go. So therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said if he would let the people go, it would not be because it's free choice. It will be because of external force that the people had put on him to release Am Yisrael. Therefore, he hardened his heart, so he would say no. The people say, let them go, and he said no. So he can give him the opportunity to do tshuva. It's two completely opposites. Opposite ideas. So which one is right? There's not so which one is right. It's just a wonderful thing to try to solve a problem. And it's really unbelievable. But yet if we talk about the most simple and most profound pshat of this sugya, of this question, you can find, for example, in the Gemara that refers to Yetzer Hara. The Gemara in Masechet Sukkah, should I give the page? 52a says, Rav Asi says, at the beginning, the Yetzer Hara is as thin as a spider web. Thin. And at the end is as thick as a cart's rope. When you put you tie your oxen to the cart, or like a ship's rope, thick. I went to the Intrepid and forgot during the summer one day with my kids. I've never seen in real life such thick ropes. It was amazing. They were like this big. And you tie a whole aircraft carrier with them. It's unbelievable. It was just like this. So in the beginning, the Yetzer Hara comes to you thin. No problem. I can deal with it. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Until it gets so big, you can stand there all day long with a knife to cut it. It won't cut. It's so thick. So that's what Rav Asi said. Rava says, at the beginning, the Yetzer Hara is called a wayfarer, a guest, a passerby. I'm sorry, not a guest, a passerby. Later on, the Yetzer Hara comes and becomes what? Your guest. And at the end, the Yetzer Hara becomes the master, the Lord. He is going to determine what are you going to do. You are not the boss anymore. It is very important to remember that. Very important. You're going to become a slave. And the Yetzer Hara has two faces. One face is turned to the to the outside of the world. And it is what it does, and that becomes the victim. The second one is turned within, inside of you. Yetzer Hara traps the evildoer. You become trapped. But slowly but surely, that person would lose its freedom to do anything, and you become the slave of the Yetzer Hara. Slave. But so that's one slavery. But there are different types of slavery, many different types of slaveries. For example, first of all, let's see what slavery is all about. So slavery, the Torah says that the Egyptians worked the Jews in what we call parech, avodat parech. Slave labor in Hebrew is avodat parech. Avodat parech is avodah, work, haporechet which crumbles the essence of the person. It crumbles you. So there is bafarech, avodat farech, slave labor of hard, avodah kasha, chomer, levenim, mortar, bricks, it's breaking stones, that's slave labor. And there is avodat parech, by stepping over and destroying the dignity of the person. For example, we know the Midrash tells us that what Paro did, he reversed the roles. He gave women men's job, and men he gave women's job. So you would say, okay, I understand. Avodat parech, the women had to schlep all these heavy things and so on and so forth. That's labor. But what's the man? The man is sitting at home, he's doing dishes, changing diapers, sewing, knitting, fixing up. That is also slave labor. Why? The other one is external, this one is internal. It destroys the dignity. A person feels like, I have to do this I have to do. If you choose to do so, there's nothing wrong with a husband who stays home. If the wife can bring more money, gesundheit, lama lo. Let's say she's, a doctor. Okay, so she can go and bring the money. The husband will be home. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. If they both agree that that's what needs to be done, one of them wants to raise the kids, there's more opportunity on her behalf, lama lo. What's wrong with this? I don't see anything wrong with that, if that's what they choose to do. But when you force someone to do something of that sort, you will crumble, you will destroy his dignity as a human being. You should know, though, Rabotai, that during World War II, in the camps, in the concentration camps, they did both. The Nazis did both. What they were doing, they just not allow, force the Jews to do labor, slave labor, to work in Mercedes or BMW, or to do all these things that they were doing, slave labor, with no shoes and no coats, and just wearing pajamas in the snow in Europe. They also destroyed the dignity, and that's what they were torturing the Jews, not only to destroy their essence, so their spirit will be shattered. Not only in labor, because you know what? We can take a lot. The body can take a lot, but the mind you destroy. They did both. They were worse than Paro. Paro wanted to destroy all the kids. They want to destroy everybody. And not only that, first we're going to crumble them. Why? So they won't resist. I don't think I would ever own a BMW or Mercedes. Or a Volkswagen. I don't need to whisper, it's okay. Right? It's my people. So you have to think about, understand that there's many different types of slavery. Many different types. So we talked about the Yetzer Hara slavery. We talked about slavery of Avodat Parech. There are other types of slavery. There's Avdut, slavery of Chomer, materialism. Chomriyut is materialism. Chomer, Chomriyut. We become slaves. And the slavery of materialism is like a Frankenstein. In Hebrew we say, a golem shekam al yotzro. The Frankenstein that came to chase after his master. After all, we are a consumer society. And because of the slavery for materialism, we became slaves to whom? To work. Trabajo. Rabota. Nilu blu rabota. From work. What does it mean? Let's see. Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Am Yisrael at the most difficult point in the history of the Jews as a nation of slaves. Most difficult time. Paro is ripping them into pieces. They can't think anymore. Here comes Moshe Rabbeinu and offers them an alternative. Guys, I have a solution. All right, what is it? Redemption. And what did they tell him? Get out of here. We can't do this. Lech mipo. How do you say in Russian, get out of here? Idiatsu, whatever. Out of here. Get out of here. Lech mipo. Say, guys, I have a solution. I can help you. We don't want this. How do we call that incident of breaking away from the Egyptians? How do we call this?
Exodus.
No, in Hebrew.
Yetziat
Mitzrayim. Why not Exodus? Because it takes a whole different meaning if you understand what it is. We call it Yetziat Mitzrayim. Or Yetzia Mehametzarim, Yemei HaMetzarim, the days in which we were oppressed. Meitzar, there are Metzariyam, Straits of Hormuz, so on and so on. A narrow place. Mitzrayim Milshum Meitzarim. The name Mitzrayim hints for the essence of this place of what was going on there. Mitzrayim is Makom, a place, HaMeitzer et Adam. It squeezes the person, grinds you. From one end, it's the empire of the time. I mean, still today, people talk about the Egyptians, the pyramids, the whole thing. Buildings. Whatever else was going on there. Trade. It's a happening place. It's the place to be. On the other hand, a place of intense slavery. It's very interesting. Some Egyptian archaeologists try to come up against the concept as the ancient Egyptians were actually slave drivers. I don't understand what's the problem. They're not even related to them. Moshe comes, talks to the people, and the people are closed. They can't hear a thing. He talks to them, Am lo shomea. They're closed-minded. And why is that? Why can Am Yisrael listen to what Moshe Rabbeinu says to him? Say, listen, I have a solution. So sit down and say, okay, Moshe, speak. What we can do here? Why they not listening to them? What's the answer? Mikotzer ruach ve'avodah kasha. Kotzer ruach means impatience and hard labor, a lot of work. What does it mean? Many times a person might find himself in a meitzar, in a difficult time, and tzara, again, tzara, meitzar, mitzrim, all the same thing. And I think that right now here, the place that I'm at is bad. Each and every one of us is this internal Moshe inside of us. And Moshe, by the way, is very interesting. His name is Moshe. Moshe refers to an action of pulling. He is the Moshe. He pulls the people out. Really, they should call him Nimshe, he who was pulled out from the water. But yet we call him Moshe, he who pulls others out. So Moshe the name Moshe indicates about when it was given to him, but what he was going to do, not what had happened to him. He should really be called Nimshel. That's why they call him Moshe. And when a person like this, or this entity of my internal Moshe comes, I close it in. I don't want to hear. I'm so immersed in my impatience, in my own kotzer ruach, that I'm not willing to listen any kind of new ruach, any new wind. There's a new wind here, a new breeze. I can't hear it. I can't even relate to it. that hard work puts us into a spin, into a tornado, into a turmoil of work. And it's a cycle that it does not break. And I'll give you an example. I'm feeling a little stressed now. So what do? I think that if I'm going to work harder, it's going to become better. It's going to get me out of the situation in which I am at. And what happens? Usually, I sink further in. I sink further into the mud. It's like, if you go into those moving sand, or you fall into a mud trap, the worst thing that you want to do is move. The more you move, the more you sink. You need to grab something and do what? Pull yourself out of there. So if I'm going to fall, I'm going to go like this, I'm going to go further down. We need to pull ourselves out. When we are in a situation that doesn't work for us, and we're going to continue that, we're just repeating the pattern with greater intensity, and as a result, we're going to keep on going further down into the mud. And most people don't want to understand that. And our days, I'm sorry to say, we became addicted to what we call olam hachomer, materialistic world. And then there comes the kotzer ruach, the impatience, because I'm immersed with the chomeriyut. And usually, when I'm becoming impatient, there's also usually some kind of a chet tagging along, or comes right after that. Example? Not a problem. I'll give you two major examples of impatience. Adam HaRishon couldn't wait. Sit down. Don't do anything. Sit down. Shabbat comes. It's all over. Couldn't wait. Impatience. Chet. Egel. The same thing. Tell him, listen, 40 days I'm done here. Couldn't wait. All right. What happened? Chet. Most of the problems, most of the what we call sins, chataim that we do, is because we are impatient. You know that most people violate Shabbat at the end of Shabbat, not in the beginning of Shabbat. No, come on, what's another 5 minutes? I already kept 24 hours and 55 minutes. That's another 5 minutes. All right, chet, shalom. We always do that. Can't wait. That's why when let's say people get married, right? We separate them for a week. Wait, you can be with each other forever and ever. Right now you cross the end, now you're separated. I'm going to put you apart. You have to understand that. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to us, Be'ita achishena. I would hasten the redemption on its time. I will do it, not you. I will do it. Because every time we rush to something, we mess it up. Yes, I would like to have Mashiach now. If this is the appropriate time, I'm not determining what the time is. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will. I'm demanding, I want it now. I don't want to wait. I'm throwing a tantrum. I want it now. I wanted UPS. I wanted Federal Express. I wanted whatever delivery, super rush delivery. As a matter of fact, I want you to deliver it before you even mailed it. I needed it yesterday. So wait another day. It's going to make a difference for you. Wait. The reason why this redemption does not come so quick, we've been waiting for it for a long time, is because we messed it up all the time, because we wanted, no. Wait, leat. You build a building quickly, it will crumble. Yes, in China they're building skyscrapers in like 2.25 weeks. I don't know what's going to happen 50 years from now. They're going to fall. Take the time. They have the cement to dry. It takes time. Everything takes time. We don't want it. We want it now. We're impatient. And that becomes a form of slavery. What's impatient? It takes time. You want a degree? Okay, what do you want a degree for? It will take you time. You need to learn. It's a slavery. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu's then I will save you. Wait, I will save you. You need to do what you need to do, and when the right time, I will bring it. So therefore, the tikkun of our time, of our generation, is patience. All you need, just a little patience. Slowly, slowly, laat, shwaya, shwaya. Chazal tell us that when you are impatient, you can't talk to you. I can't talk to you. If I want to tell you something, listen, I have a problem. Imagine you're going to a psychologist. Listen, I have a problem. No, okay. What's the problem? What do you want? Well, I'm saying, let me explain to you. I was a little down. Okay, I'll give you Zoloft. I'll give you Prozac. Goodbye. Let me explain. It's okay. I got the idea. You can't do that. You can't help people. That's why Chazal said, Divrei Chachamim benachat nishmaim. Benachat, slowly, slowly. You want somebody to listen to you? Talk to him slowly. No. Say it. No. Where are you running? What's the rush? You're not going to be able to listen, even if I tell you the whole story of my life, because you are impatient. Divrei Chachamim benachat nishmaim. If the wise men want to be listened to, you have to say it benachat. Don't be too impulsive. And that includes the way you drive. Most people think that driving fast is an indication of a good driver. It couldn't be more far from the truth. Precise driver is a good driver, not a fast driver. You don't need to be a good driver to be fast. Just take a brake and put it in the pedal and it will go down. But you have to understand. So therefore, everything will be like that. Everything has its time. Kohelet says, everything has its time. Time to plant, time to harvest, time to this, and so, time to live and time to die. And we say, because we are impatient and going back into this mud that we're in, we say, you know what? Let me work a little harder. And then I will have more time to live, to go see places. I will have more time to spend with my kids. But in the meanwhile, every day I come home at 10 o'clock at night. I don't see my kids. I don't spend time with my kids. And before you know, they grow up and they disappear. They go on to their own life. What is this all about? And then they will go and says, our parents were never there for us. And they'll wait for you to die so they can take the money that you work so hard for, because that's all it is. That you sanctify the money, not sanctify your relationship with your kids or your family. It is like the story they say. It's an old story that they say about the fisherman. I'm sure you know the story. A guy sits on the dock, nice blue Mediterranean, or in the Caribbean, whatever, sits like this on the dock. Okay, fine, fly fishing, He goes, actually in the ocean is better. He sits like this and he has his fishing rod, and takes his time, sits cross legs, and the guy comes to him and he says, excuse me, what are you doing? The guy says, I'm fishing. What for? To eat. I just like it. It's fun. And what do you do with the fish? I eat them. I take 1-2 fish. I bring it home. I eat it. He says, no. Listen to me. Let me tell you what to do. The fish, don't eat them. Sit here from morning to night, collect a lot of fish, sell it. The guy said, why? I said, what do you mean? You have money. But the guy says, what for? What for? So you can buy a net. What am I going to do with the net? What am I going to do with the net? You're going to catch a lot of fish. What am I going to do with this? You're going to sell the fish. I'm going to make the money. You're going to make the money. What are you going to do with the money? You buy a boat. Buy a boat. A boat. Me? What am I going to do with the boat? What are you going to do with the boat? You work a few years. You catch thousands and tens and hundreds of, you empty the ocean from fish. You sell it all. The guy is saying, yeah, and now? And then you retire. That's the thing. What am I going to do in retirement? You sit here, you cross your legs, and you fish with a rod. Enjoy your fishing. So you need to go all the way there to be here. That's what we do. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to this. Your kids are here. You're not spending any time with them. This is slavery, Rabotai. It is slavery. We are like rats. How do you call those? Those things. They spin around like this. Hamsters. We're like hamsters. They put us in this thing and tell us, okay, run, and we run. We run. And we try to break away the cycle. So what do? We run faster. And we run faster because we want to go out, and we run faster, and all of a sudden we realize that we have no power, and we drop dead like this. The hamster died. He realized that he has no more power. He can't break the cycle. Why? Because the more he runs, the faster he needs to go, the more power. And you know the story. That's the end of the story. So are us. We're the same thing. We become clueless with our lives. Clueless. We realize that all of a sudden we don't have power anymore. We can't continue. I can't do this anymore. And we forgot, why are we doing? For whom are we doing? Why did we go to work all of a sudden? It's like the person who says, you know what? I really like to learn. I want to learn so much. But okay, so I'm going to work. So he goes to work. And he works well and comes to learn in the afternoon. And by the way, these are not stories. This happens all the time. And he gets a chance for promotion. With the promotion comes more responsibility. And before you know, all he does in terms of learning is talk about how much he used to learn. It's like this guy I told you one time, says he used to go to Yeshiva, he used to be this, he used to learn Gemara, and it was wonderful. I came to his house. He has a whole entire room. It's his study. It's almost as big as his Bet Medrash. Actually, half of it. With mahogany all over. I mean, they don't make wood like this. I don't know where he got it. Beautiful bookshelves with wood all over the place. And he has a thing, and he has a stender there, handmade stender. And he says, I have a pond there, and I put my, the water fountain, and it goes on. And I sit here with my stender here in my Gemara, and I look at this beautiful sight, and I said, I made it. I say, Yechamor, why would you learn? But you need to do this. Well, you look at that. You forgot what you did this for. This whole thing was so you can come here and learn and open your Gemara and look through the window. I couldn't believe when the guy was telling me. I'm telling you. Then he was wondering why his kid became such a lunatic. His kid had to go to the other side of the world to break away from this cycle. It just did not make sense. And, we forget. We forget everything what we do. We forget why we make a bracha. We forget what we pray. You forget who you pray to. We don't feel this, Bezat Hashem, next week my daughter is getting married. Bezat Hashem. Even if it wasn't my daughter's wedding, every time I hear somebody sings in Mishkachei Yerushalayim, I feel like as I'm talking to you now, I feel overwhelmed. My soul is being ripped. I feel like somebody is killing me when they say Mishkachei Yerushalayim. There's a time that I don't have to bite my lips not to cry. It kills me. What a statement, if I forget you, Yerushalayim. I'm not saying I'll forget you, my right hand, my tongue will stick. How could I forget? Any of us feel him forget Mishkachech Yerushalayim? I'm reading things in the newspaper. They're negotiating or maybe splitting Yerushalayim. What happened to this Mishkachech Yerushalayim? Who is everybody? What are you sleeping? What happened? We became slaves. How can you think about the Mishkachech Yerushalayim, to give Yerushalayim? It's like you divide your mother into half. How can you do this? We forgot. We became slaves. We became slaves to images. We became slaves to everything. Images is a big thing for us. It's mamash avodah zarah that we do. We became slaves to images. Elokei masecha. Masecha of a mask that covers. Covers what? Covers a Kadosh Baruch Hu from us. You want me to show you how they're worshiping? I'll show you how they're worshiping. Anybody wants to see? I'll show you how big God is. Hold on one second. I'll show you how big God is for many people. 1 second. God is this big. You know why? You hold it here. You put it so close to your eyes. That's the only thing you see. You don't see God. Shiviti Hashem. I will contemplate on Hashem, not on a dollar bill. This is Mishkachech Yerushalayim. If I forget you, Yerushalayim, we're talking about returning Jerusalem. But we stole it from somebody that I have to return it? I didn't steal it from anyone. It was bought. It was ours. I'm returning it. And what do? We are just like the Bnei Israel in Mitzrayim. We are busy with our own little shtuyot, nonsense, small politics of not importance. This one got an aliyah, the other one didn't get an aliyah. This, that. What are you talking about? Hello, wake up. Moshe Rabbeinu came, guys, let's go out. They're still fighting in shuls in Mitzrayim. You know, the little fights that they have there. Come out of it. I'm giving you freedom. We're fighting Ashkenazim, Sfaradim. What are you guys? Out of your minds? We are not concerned with Kavod Shamayim, who has been desecrated. Kavod Shamayim. What do? Kavod Shamayim is mitchalel berosh chutzot. Out in the open. Come those women of the kotel, they pray in the kotel, they desecrate any remnant that we have. Would anybody allow somebody to come dance on his mother's tombstone? And you allow, and we allow it to desecrate the holiest place that we have left, that we allowed to go, because we gave somebody the permission to tell us not to go. Mr. Kotel HaMa'aravi. And we are sleeping. We are sleeping so bad we drool on ourselves. We are stuck in this little me, this like little I. Bechosser ruach and bekotzer ruach, with lack of patience and also lack of spirit. Ruach, kotzer ruach, small spirit. Not only patience, small spirit. Ve'avada kasha. We immersed ourselves with work. That we have. Listen, I'll tell you guys. Let's make a parade, or something. I don't know, parade. How do you call this? A demonstration. Let's go down. Let's skip our job. Let's go on a demonstration. And what would they say to you? So I really can't, I have work to do. Let's stand in front of the United Nations, let's go stand in front of the Israeli consulate, and so on, and protest. Who are you to give Yerushalayim back? What, you got ownership of Yerushalayim? Belongs to all of us. Oh no, listen, I got tests in school, I don't have time for this. That's exactly what they told Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu says, guys, let's go. Let's do something. No, Moshe, hey, leave me alone. I don't have time for this. Even when we pray, and that's what he says to them. They say that in the name of the Satmarav, that said it in the name of some of the Talmidei, or one of the Talmidei of Baal Shem Tov. On the pasuk it says, "V'gam ani shamati et na'akat bnei Israel." I heard also the cry of bnei Israel that Asher Mitzrayim, which the Egyptians tortured them with hard work, b'avodah kasha, of chomer v'levenim, and so on. I heard it also. They say on that pasuk that at the end of time, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the Geulah, when the redemption comes, as much it was Tam Geulat Mitzrayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is also going to hear us and answer us, even if we play out of order. When we play on Tefillah, first of all we say the first three brachot b'shivcho shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, praising Hashem. We don't say, listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, listen, give me this, refuah, parnasa, kalkala, this, and that. We don't come with the list. First we start b'shivcho shel makom. Here we first started with, listen, help me. And then the same thing is Mitzrayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I heard them. They didn't care about my kavod, that my people are becoming slaves, rolling on 49 gates of Tumah. When we roll in 49 gates of Tumah, it's kvod shamayim mitchalel barabim. It's not us, it's kvod HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu heard them also. Even if we only pray, please help us from the avodah kasha, and we're not concerned with kvod shamayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu answers us in the time of the Geulah. So we hope that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will hear our tefillot and will take us from galut lecheirut, from exile to freedom. It's going to build us, build Eretz Israel, help us build it. And until then, until this time comes, don't you dare to ever forget that Im Mishkachech Yerushalayim. We have to bring ourselves together. We have to remember that we have to act. And the time to act is now. And you start acting by how? Very simple. By learning. כי אין לך בן חורין אלא מי שעוסק בתורה. ואם לא עכשיו, מתי? And if not now, when? Why? אם אין אני לי, מי לי. My son told me something very interesting. He came from Israel, he showed me pictures of the roof of his Bet Medrash in Yerushalayim covered with snow, and guys were shoveling. So I said to him, this is exactly like the story of Hillel that froze on the roof when it snows on top. And my son said to me, do you know that day, the Daf Yomi was that day that talks about Hillel on the roof snowing? So Rabotai, this is the ultimate freedom. And let's hope together, let's awaken ourselves, let's voice our concern, and let's be concerned with Kavod Shamayim. Amen. Ken Yiratzon.